Hi guys, this is the second lesson about mocking. In the previous one I showed you how to implement a backend mockup, and in this one the proposal is to show you how to show how it works. So first of all, let's start by opening the old file, our app.run.mock.js. This is the original file, but I have to confess you that I prepare some code a little bit more sophisticated. So let's open the new file. As you can see on the top there still are the two pass-through route. Then I declare a couple of variables. The first one is used to generate almost a random error. We will see how in a while. Then we have the HTTP backend when get with on the root events, and then the add event. This function is similar to the previous one. I added just a little bit of code to implement an algorithm that returns an error every 3 attempts. The remaining part of the function is exactly the same of the previous lesson. Then I added a new function, the when post on listening on the delete event route. This function, as you can guess, removes an element from the array. In order to do this, I use the splice function. It is very similar to the add event. The next step is to see how I change the factory service. So let's close some files. We don't need them anymore. This is the previous file, and then I'm gonna show you the new modified file. As you can see, the old one is very poor in its content. There is basically a get and a create event with a very few business logic. Even in this one, I implemented both the get events, the create event, and the delete event using promises. I'm supposing you know what HTTP, $HTTP and $Q are, and I'm going very quickly through those. The promise returned by the HTTP get on the root events is passed through to the then function. This function takes two parameters that are two functions. The first one is to handle the correct response, and the second one is to handle the error. In the first case we will resolve the promise, and in the second case we will reject the promise. Okay, as you can see in the code. Then we have two more functions, the create event and the delete event. They are very similar to the get events. There are a few differences. The first one obviously is the URL, add event and delete event instead of event, the simple events. The second one is the parameter event, because in the get event it is not necessary. Third difference is the HTTP verb, get for the first function and post for the last two. In order to complete the code, I did a complete refactory of the controllers. Now this is the old one, and let's see the new one. As you can see, I rewrite the submit function, and I write the new delete function. Both function calls the event factory, the first one called the create event and the second one the delete event. And both functions, after the first call, do another call to the get events function of the get event factory. And then the result is processed and assigned to the VM events array, internal array. This in order to do a refresh of the page. Last file to modify is the view. So let's close some unuseful file, and then I show you what are the changes I did. At the end of the file I added a new form. This is the table with the event list. This one is the form with a simple input text and a button with the ng-click directive that triggers the event controller delete function. Note that the parameter passed to the delete function is the ng model of the input text above. Okay, let's see what happens when we reload the page. So add event, we have the new form with the field and the input, and let's start adding an event 2. Then submit. Okay, event 1 the first event is added. And now we have some logging. We have only one item in the array. Now let's add a second event. Submit. Okay, second event, and then we have two items in the array, event and event 2. Okay, let's add a third object. I expect an error now. In fact, we have the KO response because of the algorithm that returns a random error. So let's submit again, and then we have the event number 3. Okay, now we can try to delete some event. Let's delete the event 2. Oh, I did a little mistake. In fact, I forgot a T. No, let's delete event 2. Event 2, but this is the third attempt, so we have the KO response. Let's try again. And now I'm expecting that the event 2 will disappear. And in fact it disappeared. And let's take a look to the logging, to the console. In the array we have only two items, event and event 3. So the object was deleted from the array. I hope you find useful this couple of lessons about mocking. Bye.